Shadow work has changed my life. I've been doing shadow work for over a year now, and I have noticed such a positive impact in actually looking at my shit. A lot of people in the spiritual community, especially when they first get into spirituality, they're all like rainbows and butterflies and positivity only, don't want to look at anything negative. And I'm here to tell you that you cannot raise your vibration to enlightenment unless you look at the dark shit first. Even if you think your problems are small, it doesn't mean that they're any less valid than anybody else's. You have your shit that you deal with that affects you on a daily basis, and you deserve to be able to heal from that. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla, and on this channel we talk about law of attraction, manifestation, and so much more. I'm here to help you live a more mindful life, so if that sounds good to you, be sure to click that subscribe button down below to see more of my videos. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how to heal without therapy. I feel like everyone and their moms nowadays is saying, go see a therapist, go see a therapist, oh, you should go see a therapist. And it seems like the only solution to your problems or healing. And I'm here to tell you that that simply isn't the case. Therapy is not for everyone. And some people have like different issues with therapy. I'm gonna give you a little bit of my background and why I'm talking about this, just so you get a better understanding as to why I'm talking about this. And also, everything I'm mentioning in this video is based off of my experience, and these things work for me. They might not work for you, but they work for me, and I'm here to share them with you just in case they might work for you. So now, therapy is a wonderful tool. I'm not gonna lie, I have seen many therapists in my life. Some were good, some were not good. The majority were not good, unfortunately. It's not for everybody, and also there might be certain reasons as to why you might not be able to see a therapist. One of the reasons is that some people cannot afford it. A lot of times I believe like the minimum to see a therapist, at least in my state, is like $80 per session. I do agree that therapists should be paid that amount because they are listening to your problems and they are licensed. However, not everybody has the money or is willing to spend the money, especially when it comes to therapy. Now, if you are thinking of seeing a therapist, I don't want any of my words to like talk you out of it, but let's face the reality here. If your insurance does cover it, some insurances might not cover the full cost, and they also might not get you like the best therapist, to be honest. Anytime my insurance has covered therapy, it was like a family counseling center, just a random therapist was assigned to me, and then I had to like just tell them all my problems, and I didn't even like connect with them. So that was really difficult for me. I've seen different types of therapists here and there. A therapist one time in New York City, she was absolutely, I'm sorry, like she was kind of batshit crazy. She told me everything in my life was trauma, which I mean, some things are, yes, but like really like small minuscule things that I don't even think about. Like she told me that me sharing a bedroom with my foster sister was trauma when I don't see that as trauma. Nothing bad happened from that. I was like, okay, that's not trauma. And then this therapist also was talking shit to me about her other clients. She was telling me about her divorce, like, and I was paying her, like I was paying her to talk about my problems, and she was over here talking about her divorce, and I'm sitting there like, what the frick is going on? And that was the last therapist that I saw. Last person that I saw was a psychiatrist, and they pretty much just diagnose you with shit. A lot of times therapists and psychiatrists will diagnose you with stuff that you don't even have. Like I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was really young, and I don't have bipolar. I was just depressed when I needed to be depressed, and I was just happy when I was supposed to be happy. I did not have bipolar, and I was misdiagnosed with bipolar just so that they could shove pills down my throat. Now, I've been in and out of mental hospitals when I was a teenager, and this was like a really huge thing that really impacted my life. I was forced to take medication as a minor, and I did not have a choice about it, and I had to put these chemicals in my body. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I chose to heal on my own rather than see a therapist, because honestly, I was just really sick and tired of one, waiting on a wait list for a therapist, and two, trying to find a therapist that I vibed with. And like a lot of the times I would just like finally get to a therapy session and then be like, okay, fine, I'll tell you all my problems even though I don't vibe with you, because I was just sick and tired of trying to find a therapist. It was exhausting to me. So that's why I'm making this video, because not everybody is able to go to therapy. Not everybody has access to therapy, and you very well can heal on your own. Step number one is recognizing realizing that you do have trauma. And pretty much every person on this earth has some form of trauma in their life. It might not be really big trauma, but it might be trauma that has affected you throughout your life and it affects you in a big way. So even if it's something that you consider small, it could actually be really big. Like say your brother punched you in the face and you thought that was small. I did. It clearly was not a small issue. It was actual trauma that you needed to work through and heal and feel that you never was allowed to feel as a child because for whatever reason, if your parents didn't really give you a safe space to feel your feelings or something of that sort. So yeah, I'm just throwing out examples here. Your trauma could be completely different than the next person's. Even if you think your problems are small, it doesn't mean that they're any less valid than anybody else's. You have your shit that you deal with that affects you on a daily basis, and you deserve to be able to heal from that. Also, it's really important that you do heal because when you heal, everybody else around you heals. We might not really realize what is affecting our life in the ways that it's affecting. In reality, if I'm acting out in a way that's from my trauma, I'm affecting everybody around me. So when I'm able to heal that, I don't have to inflict my toxic negative behavior onto other people without realizing it. So healing is a really, really powerful thing because it really does affect everybody around you as well. It's not just for you, it's for the collective consciousness. And when somebody sees you healing, they might be inspired to heal themselves as well. So everything is energy, and what you put out into the world is what you're going to get back. Also, I really feel like almost every adult walking on this earth is just a unhealed child in an adult's body trying to navigate this life. Leave a comment down below if you can relate to that. I literally feel like, okay, why am I in this apartment by myself? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? And it's just weird. I literally feel like a child. I feel, not that I feel like a child, of course I feel like an adult, but there is a child part in me. And what comes with healing yourself is healing your inner child. So one of the things I really recommend you do is to think about what exactly you loved doing as a child and implement that into your daily life. So for me, I loved dancing, and it's something that I kind of strayed away from after I stopped teaching dance after the pandemic. And lately I've been incorporating dance into my routines. I'll just put on music in the morning and dance and move my body, and I have found myself literally crying from that because it's an emotional release. And it's fine if you don't cry, but I personally will cry from dancing because I just missed it so much, and it's my child being able to be expressed. So that's a really good way to heal your inner child, is just to implement something into your life that you used to do as a kid that sparked joy and really made you happy. And don't give me excuses saying that you don't have time for it. You do have time for it, and you have to make time for your inner child because your parents might not have made time for you as a child, as a kid. So it's your job now to take responsibility for that and to give yourself the time and energy that you wish that someone else would have gave you when you were a kid. I'm gonna get into 5 ways that you can heal without therapy. Yeah, so let's just jump right into it. Number 1 is breath work, and specifically somatic release breath work. When I first heard of breath work, the reason why I was introduced to it is because I did a 21-day challenge by Erin Dowdy, and this was a combination of manifestation, meditations, this was healing and all this stuff. And I actually didn't really know what shadow work was until I did this challenge. One of the things in there was breath work, and this breath work was by Victor Otto and his wife Patty Papa. I thought that it was going to be a meditation. I didn't really know what breath work was, and I was about to go to the beach and do this breath work in public. Actually, it started raining, thank God, so I didn't end up doing it at the beach, but I did it when I got home a couple days later, and I was like, oh my God, thank God I did not do that at the beach because it was rough. And by rough, I mean in a good way, but pretty much what breath work is you're technically hyperventilating, and you're kind of forcing yourself to hyperventilate. That's not really the best way to describe it, but that is what it is. And you're breathing in through your mouth and breathing out through your mouth. So it's like really deep breaths in through your mouth, out through your mouth. It can be really uncomfortable at first. It has helped me so much, and I really recommend you do this with someone who's certified, of course. I'm going to be certified soon after I get my yoga training done. I'm gonna start doing breathwork training. I am going to be certified in breathwork in the future because it has had such a huge impact on my life, and it has helped me in so many ways. So there's different forms of breathwork, but I definitely recommend somatic release breathwork. Look it up and see if there's any in your area, and also there might be some online. So if you join any of Erin Dowdy's challenges, there might be a breathwork in there, so make sure there is if you're looking into that. I really recommend Victor Otto and Patty Papa. They're absolutely amazing. They're actually the only people I've sat with for breathwork, and I've done it in person and online. I will say the in-person ones do have a huge impact because everybody in the room is literally like screaming and crying out their emotions, and you literally feel other people's emotions being released through you. It's really, really helpful. So this breathwork is pretty much a guide to get you to feel your emotions. And you might be crying, you might be shaking, you might be screaming or yelling, but it's all a release at the end of the day, and it helps so much. I like doing it online because one of the benefits to doing it online is that you're alone. It might be really good to do it online for the first time, just because you'll be in your own space. Unfortunately, when I do it at home, my cats are like running all over the place because they get scared. So I do prefer to do it in person nowadays. I think I've done it 3 times in person. I've done it twice at ayahuasca retreats, and then I've done it once at this Sedona event by Erin Dowdy. Victor Otto and Patty Papa did the breath work there. It was just so beautiful and amazing. It gets really loud in the room. It can be kind of scary, but you're letting out a lot of emotions, and it's really individual to everybody. So you might have like a really different experience than someone else. I know my friend Angelique, like she literally she was blissed out the entire time, and I was going through like so much trauma. But she's done breathwork so much, so she actually was able to get to that point. But like anytime I've done breathwork, I'm releasing a lot of trauma. So you might be like happy as fuck, or you might just be sad as fuck. But I really do recommend breathwork. Just look into it, look up somatic release breathwork near me, or join a challenge or something from Erin Dowdy, because it is so powerful, and also it's so affordable too. Like it's more affordable than therapy, so I highly recommend it. The second way I recommend to heal without therapy is to do shadow work. Now I could do an entire different video on shadow work, but pretty much what shadow work is in the grand scheme of things, it's looking at your shadow, like the dark parts of yourself, and integrating them and really seeing what comes up for you and why you're feeling or acting the way you're acting. So it's pretty much counseling yourself in a way. I have this shadow work journal. Hold on, let me get it. So this is the journal that I recommend you get. It's called the Shadow Work Journal. I got it off of Amazon. I'll link it down below. And it says a guide to integrate and transcend your shadows. And in this, there's a bunch of different exercises to really look at your past and to look at you now. And it really helps you to get to know yourself a lot better. I just flipped to a random page that I haven't done before. And this page says parental influence. Pretty much like this whole journal consists of different questions for yourself. To one, get to know yourself a little bit better, to understand your shadow, and to release any trauma. This says, what parts of your parents or guardians do you notice reflected in yourself? Now, these are hard questions, okay? What traits, both good and bad, are you inheriting from them? How can you break the negative behavioral chains that run through your family? Shadow work has changed my life. I've been doing shadow work for over a year now, and I have noticed such a positive impact and actually looking at my shit. I feel like a lot of people in the spiritual community, especially when they first get into spirituality, they're all like rainbows and butterflies and positivity only, don't want to look at anything negative. And I'm here to tell you that you cannot raise your vibration to enlightenment unless you look at the dark shit first. I'm not saying I've felt enlightened. I've definitely felt enlightened on ayahuasca. In my normal day-to-day, no. Like, I really don't think that you can absolutely feel your absolute best self unless looking at your shadow. And I've had people in my life before that literally don't allow me to feel my negative emotions, and I'm sorry, but that's completely toxic. Now, it's one thing if you're negative all the time, but if you're pretty much a positive person, person and you need to feel your emotions, you should be able to surround yourself with people that are able to handle that from you and to be able to like be there for you. If people in your life aren't allowing you to do so, it might be a sign that your parents did not allow you to do so as well, because a lot of the times we really attract people into our life that we are familiar with, and it might not be exactly our parent, but it might be a friend, and it might be behaviors from that friend that are like literally from your parent. These are really great things to look into. If you don't want to get the shadow work journal, you can look up on Google or Pinterest and look up shadow work questions, and you can create your own little journal as well. So highly recommend that, because that is literally like giving yourself therapy. By doing this, you might want someone to talk to, and then I recommend to see a therapist or to talk to a friend who you really trust. I haven't seen a therapist in probably 2 years, and I've been healing on my own, and I do want to see a therapist at some point, but I've noticed that healing by myself has literally brought me so much farther than any therapist has. And that's not to hate on therapy, but like I said, it's not for everybody. At this point in your life, you might just not resonate with therapy and you want to heal on your own, and that is definitely possible. And that's why I'm making this video, because I really want to share with you that it is possible to heal without paying thousands of dollars to a therapist. Now, I'm not saying everything is free in life. However, if you have the internet, you can look up shadow work questions for free and write them down in your notes app or something. You're watching this on some device, so you could definitely do everything I'm sharing with you at an affordable price. Number 3, I'm gonna get into diet and also plant medicine. So this kind of falls into one category for me. You don't have to work with plant medicines to heal. I want to say that first. However, if you are interested in it, I'm going to talk about it right now. And diet. And if you're anything like me, you're gonna get really annoyed when I talk about diet. I have something called ARFID. It's called Avoidant Restrictive Food Intake Disorder, and pretty much what that is I get really bad anxiety if there's a certain texture of food that I don't like, and I also get really bad anxiety when I eat in front of new people, and I typically don't finish my food because of that, and it gives me intense anxiety. And yeah, like I just have a whole thing with eating. I've gotten a lot better, but my best way is to just eat by myself at home and I'll be good. But yeah, I used to not eat healthy at all. I grew up on frozen chicken fingers, hot dogs, cereals, Lucky Charms, Cocoa Puffs. Like Cocoa Puffs for breakfast, guys, are you kidding me? Like, I cannot believe my parents fed me that, but unfortunately they didn't know any better. It's really common to be literally eating shit in your daily life, and we are literally being poisoned by the food that we eat and also by the clothes that we wear. You can look into that. It's a whole other rabbit hole. To just be mindful of what you are consuming on a daily basis. Not everybody's perfect. I'm not perfect. You know, I had a bagel yesterday, probably not the best health choice, but today I had avocado toast and eggs. So really, like, whatever you can do to implement these things into your life that will make a really big difference in the long run. Even just drinking a little bit more water to start out. I'm not telling you to switch your whole diet up, because that typically doesn't work. And also, if you're a woman watching this, I could make a whole entire series on this. Let me know if you want me to. But our menstrual cycle, we have 4 different cycles throughout the month, and for each cycle we are supposed to be eating something entirely different. Like when I'm on my menstrual cycle, which is my period, it's really good to eat warm and really digestible foods that are also full of iron. Right now I'm in my follicular phase, so when I'm in my follicular phase, I eat really light and fruity things or vegetables, stuff like that. So that's really something to look into, is cycle syncing. That's something I've been doing lately. But just keep in mind that your diet has a really big impact on your mental health. And I really think that I was depressed for so many years, honestly, because of the diet that I was eating. My parents would literally throw frozen chicken in the oven and give it to me, or like a TV dinner, like, you know, kids cuisine. Like, that is shit. That is not food. I know a lot of people might get triggered when I say these things, but I'm saying it out of love, because you have no idea how much your diet impacts you. I also suffered with acne really bad the last few years until I switched up my diet. Before I switched up my diet, I was suffering with really bad acne. I still get like hormonal acne, but like for the most part, my skin has been pretty clear because of the fact that I switched my diet. And like I said, I know a lot of you are probably triggered by this. I always got triggered when people said stuff about diet to me because it was a really sensitive subject. However, it is something to look into. It really helps when you do take care of your body. So I'm gonna get into plant medicines right now. And with plant medicines, I am not telling you to do it, okay? This is not for everybody. However, I am going to mention it for those who are interested. If you're not interested, just skip this part. The first plant medicine I ever sat with was marijuana. I didn't really recognize that it was a plant medicine. Used it to deal with my emotions in a not so great way. I abused it for a while. I don't really have much to say about that because I'm not an expert or anything on any of this stuff, honestly. But marijuana did help me for a while. I don't do it anymore, but that is something that did help. Again, do your own research on it. Don't recommend to use it like for everyday use, but even just maybe CBD could help. These natural medicines are here on this earth to help us and to communicate with us while we are on earth. I'm really passionate about this because, like I said, when I was in a mental hospital, I was forced to take medication and I had to put a bunch of chemicals in my body that I did not want. So yeah. The next plant medicine that I ever sat with was ayahuasca, and this was last year, 2023. I went to 2 different ayahuasca retreats, one in March and one in November, and it was the same retreat, but 2 different times in Costa Rica. I sat with ayahuasca 6 nights total, and I have done more healing than I ever thought I could, honestly. There were things that got brought up that I didn't think were gonna get brought up, things that I didn't remember, things that I never would have imagined to happen. I faced my worst nightmares on this. This is why I don't recommend this for everybody, because not everybody can handle something like this. However, if you're strong enough, just joking, but no, really, like, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie, if you're not willing to face your shit head on for like 6 hours straight, don't do this. Maybe go to therapy. But ayahuasca is known to be 10 years of therapy per session. I found that pretty interesting, and I think it's very accurate. Each time I've sat with ayahuasca, I've gotten something completely different out of it. One of the really big revelations that I've come to terms with is that we are all abundance and love. And I know that sounds very cliche and very like, meh, but like, if you really, really feel it, like, you know. I recommend ayahuasca to anybody who is willing to face their shit and who does want to just dive right in head first. This is probably the most intense way I'm talking about, but yeah, there is a possibility that you might throw up on ayahuasca. You might have diarrhea on ayahuasca. I didn't do either of those things. I also followed the diet pretty strictly. You do have to get on a diet beforehand and only eat things that are directly from the earth. There's certain things that you're not able to have. So it is very strict with the diet and stuff, and you can't have sex beforehand. You can't do a lot of things beforehand. I definitely recommend you to look into it if you're interested. I also have an entire ayahuasca playlist on my channel. If you want to see like what my experience was like, I share a lot of that stuff on YouTube just in case anybody is interested in it. So yeah, I'm pretty open about that stuff. So if you want to check it out, highly recommend you to. But again, do your own research on this. The next plant medicine I've sat with is psilocybin mushrooms. I've only done this once and then I've microdosed here and there since. I prefer to go on a full trip rather than microdose. I feel like I really don't need to microdose in my daily life. It can be helpful sometimes depending on the dosage. I find that I get the most like results from just full on tripping. I released a lot on mushrooms as well. I did a whole vlog about it. I kind of stopped the vlog when I was feeling my emotions, and then I had a whole release in the bathroom. I cried. I actually didn't talk about that in the video, but I cried over something that happened when I was a child that I literally did not know happened until I sat with mushrooms. So yeah, that shit was like stored deep within me. Mushrooms helped me release that. So again, I'm not telling you to go sit with psychedelics. However, if it's something that you feel called to do, I highly recommend you to do your own research on it and to really look into it, because it might be something that could really help you and would be really beneficial to you. Number 4, okay, this is a broad topic, but feel your emotions. I feel like I'm a pro at feeling my emotions. I cry all the time nowadays. Like, I'm always crying. We have a society where it's not appropriate to cry when something really upsets you, like in public. So it's really important that like if something upsets you throughout the day, it's really important to come home and release that, whether it's by crying, whether it's by exercising, whether it's by just being really angry and shouting. Release your emotions in any way that you possibly can, because these emotions are stored deep within our body. And if we don't release them, it's going to show up physically to really show us exactly what's going on. If you have stomach problems, if you have back problems, if you have any sort of pain within your body, that really could be emotional trauma. I highly recommend you to look into the different chakras within your body as well. These are like intersections in your body that really need attention, because you might have a car crash at your intersection of your heart chakra. And if you haven't healed your heart, you might have chest pain, or you might have certain pains within your body that really reflect what is going on deep within that you're not looking at. So if you look at the pain in your body and say you do like a chakra healing meditation or something, you might come to find out you've been storing emotions deep within yourself that you haven't allowed yourself to feel. When you feel these emotions, you allow for more positive emotions to come into yourself. I think people have a common misconception about this, where with manifesting, you constantly have to be in a high vibrational state, and you constantly have to be feeling positive and uplifting and feeling positive emotions, when that really isn't the case all the time. If you can't feel the shit that you're feeling within, you're not going to be able to feel those high vibrational states for a long period of time. You're going to crash and burn. All I recommend is to feel your emotions in any possible way that you can. Breathwork is a really good guided tool for this, and this leads me into meditations. The fifth way that I recommend you to heal is by meditations. I have an entire video related to meditation on my YouTube channel. I just made it. I pretty much talk about why a lot of people feel like they can't meditate, and the excuses that they make, and why I feel like anybody could meditate, and also what you could do to meditate in the different types of meditation. So if that's of interest to you, I highly recommend you to go check that video out. I just made it, and there's really valuable information in there for you. I can't really talk too long in this video because this video is already becoming really long, but yeah, this brings this video to a close. I also offer guided meditations on my website. I have a really powerful meditation called the Mindset Shift meditation, and this is going to completely shift your mindset into like your higher self mindset. So I highly recommend you to go check that out if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'm wishing you all of the love and healing coming your way. Leave a comment down below if there's any other ways that I did not mention in this video that you have healed without therapy, because I'm sure that other people could benefit from your comments. So please leave a comment down below telling everyone the ways in which you've found helpful to heal. Thank you again so much for watching today's video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to see more of my videos, and I will see you in the next one.